Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. Welcome to Genesys Cloud with Logan. Today, we are going to discuss about um, CX Professional Exam Question and Answer Part 5 from 41 to 50 questions and answer. We'll cover it in today's session. The first question is: a business requirement dictates that when customer enter credit card numbers via DTM of dual tone multi-frequency, the system must temporarily halt recording to ensure PCI compliance, then automatically resume afterward. Which architect action natively facilitates this sequence in a secure call flow? So, based on my understanding, I want to guess it here. Identify the specialized out of the box flow block designed specifically to shield sensitive strings while stopping call capture strings. Set wrap-up code. This is not the one. Call data action mapping, not the one. The continuous encryption toggle in standard audio playbacks. Secure input action. I guess this one, secure input action. Yes, secure input action is the correct answer. S- Action automatically invokes an operational recording pauses the processing to secure session wrapper, and collects DTMF before returning safely and unmuting. This is a out-of-box feature in Genesys Cloud, which I know records and passes the secure information automatically the system wants. Let me move on to the next one. An agent is handling a chat interaction while concurrently talking to a customer on a voice call. An administrator notes that the agent is being overloaded. Where can the system capacity rules be modified to prevent an agent from receiving a voice call while actively interacting via a digital chat channel? Let me increase my font size. Yeah, it says somewhat better to wave it. Yeah, for this question, basically they are talking about if an agent is overloaded, that scenario, where the where can the system capacity rules be modified, where to modify it. So the options are under admin contact center utilization. This is the organization level utilization capacity. We can go ahead and modify it. And the other way is we have a users configuration. There we have a utilization tab. We can go and modify it. What is the capacity the agents can able to handle it during their work time. So at present, we can log this answer D is a correct answer out of these four. The utilization menu defines the exact multi-channel concurrency rules, controlling whether media channels can interrupt one another globally or per queue. Yeah, this is can be achieved through these settings. Let me move on to the next one. While validating a newly deployed BOIOC cloud infrastructure, an implementation engineer notes that signaling is working perfectly over port 5061, but voice calls fail due to one one way or missing audio paths. What is the most likely root cause? So this is a high level configuration. So for the initial setup we used to do in Genesys Cloud, bring your own carrier cloud infrastructure, and it has to be integrated with the network provider. For that, the Genesys Cloud engineer, they usually used to configure and do the initial setup for the organization. So in during that time, yeah, this is a signaling issue, means through port 5061 it is working, but the voice call fails due to one way or missing audio path means. Let me check on the answers. Missing wrap-up code, no. Edge appliance processes and expired structural evaluation license. I don't think so. Firewall blockages restricting the UDP real-time transfer protocol (RTP) port ranges. Answer C could be the correct answer. D, an incorrect default extension mapping, not this one. Let me check on the hint. Distinguish between the signaling layer, which setup which sets up the phone call, and the media transport layer, which handles actual audio packet streams. Signaling layer. This one, let me lock it. So answer C is the correct answer. Yes, SIP governs signaling setup, session initiation protocol. This one governs signaling setup port 5060, 5061. Whereas RTP runs over dynamic UDP ports and to deliver actual voice media streams. Blocking these causes silent paths. So the issue could be due to the UDP ports configuration. That's why it is blocking voice calls and gives silent paths. Let me move on to the next one. In an inbound email architect flow, an administrator needs to scan the incoming message body for specific keywords like billing or invoice to route it to the finance queue. Which string function should be used inside an architect decision block? So basically, in architect tool, we can develop the call flows. So any call flows, inbound call flow, outbound call flow, in queue, common module, so workflow, digital bot flow, bot flow. There are so many flows which we can select the option to develop it in the architect flow. There is a expression, the JSON expression we have to use to deduct whether the string is billing or invoice. First of all, we need to use which expression uh, will be used to deduct the string. So here is the option, four option. The option D is just to find the length. I don't think which is not required. Append is not required. ToString. So toString is whenever we want to convert integer to string value, that time we use this expression. So my assumption and experience, based on my experience, this int string is the correct answer because it will it will detect the string value directly, and then it will matches in the decision block. If it is a text is matching to this keyword, then it will go to the yes path, or else it will go to the no path. So let me log this answer. In string function returns the starting index position of a specified substring within a body text string, returning 0 if the word is absent. So basically, we can extract the substring value and match it in the decision um, block. So that's what they are trying to say. So this is a correct answer. Let me move on to the next one. A team supervisor needs to review actions performed by an administrator, such as who modified an ACD queue configuration yesterday. Which Genesys Cloud tool should be extracted to verify this configuration adjustment? Okay, basically they want to view the Genesys Cloud actions performed on the particular object. So for that, there is a Genesys Cloud audit viewer logs. This is a component which is available as part of the administrator tool. So if you are having access permission to view this audit viewer logs component, you can go to this component and check on the particular queue. who modified or who deleted or who created, those kind of logs will be there. It will be there for 2 weeks in the Genesys Cloud system. So you can check and act accordingly. So this is my answer, and it is a correct answer now. So let me move on to the next one. When a remote agent initializes their Genesys Cloud WebRTC soft phone on their home computer, which protocol is leveraged natively within the web browser to secure and encrypt the media stream traffic? For this one, encrypted UDP stream mapping, unencrypted UDP stream mapping, I don't think so. FTP file chunking and transport, I don't think so. SIP over raw UDP clearing paths, SRTP, secure real-time transfer protocols via DTLS. I assume this is a correct answer. Yes, this is a correct answer. WebRTC architecture requires mandatory encryption, leveraging datagram transport layer security DTLS to securely exchange keys for SRTP voice encoding. So this encoding and decoding process, which is already available as part of the WebRTC soft phone in Genesys Cloud system, contact center system, which will automatically do the encryption and decryption while having conversation with customer. So let let me move on to the next one. An architect is building a complex data verification loop inside an architect flow. If a call dead action fail step executes due to an unexpected CRM timeout, what happens if no logic paths are wired to the failure output node of that action? So basically, this is a this part is a little bit of complex questions. So if you go through this questions and answer more than once, it will be easy during your exams. So my Okay, based on this analysis, if the data action, for an example, web service called data action fails due to CRM portal timeout, CRM system, for an example, Salesforce system failed to return the output within the time. So in that case, it will return the timeout error from the data action. So in the data action, we can find there are three blocks. One is success path, another one is a failure path, and the final one is the timeout path. So, so our question is related to timeout path. In the during timeout path, let me figure it out the answer. The flow immediately routes to the error handling path or exists to the system error default handling. I don't think so. Flow instantly drops the call without executing. No. System assigns the interaction to the first supervisor. No. The flow loops infinitely until the API responds. No. So my guess, answer A is the correct one. The flow immediately routes to the error handling path or exits to the system error default handling step. Let me log this. Yes. Uncaught errors or unmapped failure nodes route directly to the designated error path to gracefully process or disconnect the interaction. As I said, there are three blocks. The third block is timeout block. There, if the data action not able to retrieve the response from the CRM system, it will go to the timeout block, and whatever the logic already implemented in that scenario in Genesys Cloud Architect flow, that will be executed. Those logic will be executed, and then the call will be routed to the default queue, or it may disconnect the interaction. It just depends on the organization requirement. So we got the correct answer. Let me move on to the next one. A system administrator needs to automatically delete all call recordings that are older than 365 days to comply with company data guidelines. How should this automation be configured? So this is mm, a little bit of complex question, but if you look at the keyword, how to delete your call recordings. For that, we have an option called policy. So this kind of question we have already discussed this in the beginning also, part one or two. I don't remember exactly. So by configuring a recording policy with an explicit data retention action timeline. So in Genesys Cloud, in the administrator page, you can see the policies. So if you go to the policies, there are multiple options. Whether you want to retain recordings, queue recording, queue interaction recordings for 3 months or 6 months, or when to delete it, or you don't want to record it. So those settings you can just configure it. It is easy to do it even for the newcomers. Freshers can able to do it. So the system will act accordingly based on your configurations. So remaining three options are we don't need to read it. So we know if you know recording policies is required to record the conversation. If you keep it in your mind, then the question is very easy. Yeah, this is a correct answer. Let me move on to the next one. What occurs when an administrator assigns an extension to a user that is already called routing DID configuration elsewhere in the system? Yeah, so this question basically there is a DID. DID is a direct inward dialing. So DID is nothing but it is another phone number within the Genesys Cloud. So each and every call flow will be configured with the DID. Then only the call will be routed to the Genesys Cloud Architect flow, which is Genesys Cloud system knows how to route it. So the same DID also configured to the particular agent. That means user in Genesys Cloud. So under the user profile, DID will be configured along with the DID extension also being configured for the same user. So in this scenario, the same extension has been configured to another user. In that case, what will happen? That's the question. So in this scenario, system splits the incoming audio. No. System routes all traffic exclusively to the users. No. Systems automatically deletes. No. The system validation logic flags a duplicate entry error and blocks the assignment. This is a reasonable because the particular unique DID has been assigned to more than one agent means it has to validate and show the duplicate entry warning sign uh, on their user profile page. So if you are not receiving the call as expected, then administrator or supervisor they have to go and validate it, check on their user profile page. Then they will come to know why this problem is happening. It is then we have to fix it by replacing with the new DID. It will fix the issue. So the hint also says think about the safety measures Genesys Cloud uses to prevent overlapping dial paths from misrouting calls. So answer D is the correct one. Let me move on to the next one. A contact center's historical reports show a high volume of abandoned calls in the first 3 seconds of entering the queue. The manager suspects these are callers who dialed by mistake. Which parameter should be adjusted to clear these accidental drops from performance dashboard? So this is again kind of a reporting report related metrics questions. So if you want to talk about abandoned calls, short abandoned calls, you need to check the keyword like a short abandoned threshold time parameter under queue configuration. So if you want to consider abandoned calls report, then you need to configure those parameter under the queue configuration. So let me check the hint also. Identify the queue configuration metric that specifies how many seconds an interaction must remain unanswered before it counts as a true abandon. So yeah, basically, if you want to configure the time, uh, how long the abandoned calls can be mm, can be waited in the queue interaction. That is a straightforward configuration. Let me log this answer. Setting a short abandon threshold. For an example 5 seconds flags quick hangs up as short abandons. Though then this won't be considered for the abandoned calls matrix report, excluding them from the service level equations. So in this scenario, the service level for the particular organizations in the contact center will not be impacted in, because of this short abandon threshold limit. So we got this answer. With this, we have covered part 5 on the GX, professional question and answers. And keep watching my channel for next part video. And subscribe my channel Genesys Cloud with Logan. And click on the bell icon for the new posts, new videos. And keep learning. All the best for your exam. Thanks for watching.